You don't have to be quite so desperate. Where it doesn't have to be like you're just clutching for anything that can help you, because I know about that, because that's the way it feels a lot of times when you're in church and you're new, is that you're like clutching for anything that can help you to really truly relate to what's being said, truly to understand the mystery of Jesus in you, the greatness of God and how it works. And, so many times what happens when you're in church and you're new like that, you fall back on this whole idea, well, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're being a good little Christian, well, then you're doing enough, and God saves you and everything, and you're all right as long as you're following the rules. And that sounds really good, and it's comforting to think that was true, and there's truth to it. Now, I'm not saying that you're not okay as long as you're following. If you're following the rules, look, you're in a good place. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're being a good little Christian, you're going to church regularly, you're in a good place. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not the ultimate. It's not the way God wanted you to relate to him. Yes, he wants you to go to church. I don't mean that. But he doesn't require that you go to church. I don't go to church right now. Okay, that doesn't mean I shouldn't, but I'm just not right now. I'm doing this, okay? But relating to him through following rules is an inferior way to relate to God. The superior way to relate to God, and the way that he really wanted it from the very beginning, was that you know him in your heart and you follow him just like he's leading you by the hand. Okay? Only he's leading you by the heart. Leading you by the series of things that he influences you to do, you to say, you to think in your heart. That's a better way to relate to God, and it's actually the right way. If you've given your life over to God, that's the way he's going to return the favor. You give your life to God, and he gets in there in your heart, and he gets a hold of you, and he says, look here, look at me. Look to me. Here, I have it for you right here. Here's the answers. Here's the keys. And you look to him there, and you receive from him there. That's how he can be God to you. That's how he can show you. That's how he can lead you and direct you. And that's what we want. We want the leading and directing that comes directly from God. We want that because the leading and directing that comes from man is not sufficient. It's not enough. It's, once again, trying to relate to God through obeying his rules. But even though God gave us rules in the Old Testament and gave us laws, the commandments, that's not the ultimate way that he wants you to follow him. I can tell you that emphatically, because otherwise, why would he say in 2 Corinthians 3, for example, the glory of righteousness, the ministration of righteousness, has done away with the ministration of death, which was through the law. Well, why does it call it the ministration of death? Because if you don't do what the law says, you die. Because you've been forgiven, it is now the ministration of righteousness. You are made righteous through believing that Jesus was enough to save you from your sin. That's what makes you righteous. It's a gift to you. You're now righteous through what he did. Now, you don't do anything to earn that righteousness, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Now you go on living your life with God and looking to him for his influence, and you don't have to think about trying to follow a law anymore, because look, he's leading you in your heart. He's telling you how to go in your heart. He's influencing how you should be in your heart. That's your law now. It's your law, and it's much better than any law that's written down on a piece of paper or on a stone. Can you see that? It's so simple. The law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus in your heart has made you free from the law of sin and death. It's made you free from it. Because he'll lead you in the heart, because you can listen in your heart, because you now have the image of God placed in your heart, and you can look to him to see whether or not you match. It's that simple. You no longer have to look to the law. You can look directly into God to see whether or not you match his image. And if you see something that's not the same, then you know, oh, I'm not godly there. I need your help, God. And guess what he'll do? He'll address it. He'll address it immediately, and look, this is the important part. This is how it works so well. He'll address it in exactly the way you need him to address it, so that you can understand, so that you can change, so that you can follow him into this better picture of who he is reflected through you. That's what you want. That's what it's about. That is your new way to follow God. If you'll make what he tells you from this place in your heart, commit to it as God, because it is God, that's how he can be God to you. That's how he can lead you.